Sales and marketing are always at odds. Sales says the leads are bad, marketing says sales can't close. Sound familiar? Well, with LinkedIn account-based marketing, we can finally end that blame game and align both teams on high-value accounts that actually convert. Hey everyone, my name is Cole, and today I'll show you how to use LinkedIn ABM to generate better leads, close more deals, and even automate your pipeline. Ready to get started? Let's dive in. A successful LinkedIn ABM strategy starts with targeting the right companies. While traditional lead generation casts a wide net, ABM focuses on high-value accounts with the strongest likelihood of converting. Your ideal customer profile, or your ICP, isn't just a broad category of potential buyers. It's a blueprint for identifying and prioritizing the right accounts. That said, the best way to define your ICP is by looking at patterns among your most successful existing customers. So take some time and think about the kind of companies that would be best suited for your product or service. Things like activity, geography, industry, company size, growth rate, you name it. List every characteristic that your ICP would have. Once you've defined your ICP, the next step is prioritizing accounts using tiering. Tier 1 accounts are your dream clients. Think large enterprises with massive revenue potential. These require deep personalization and relationship building with multiple decision makers by your top reps. Tier 2 accounts are your core customer base, mid-market companies that fit your ICP well. They need a scalable yet structured approach using LinkedIn messaging, targeted emails, and strategic content. Tier 3 accounts are lower priority, but still valuable. These smaller businesses or startups match your ICP, but have a much lower revenue potential. They should be engaged through automation using LinkedIn tools, lightly personalized emails, and scalable outreach. This ensures high-value accounts get the attention they deserve, while lower priority targets are nurtured efficiently. Now that you've structured your targeted accounts, let's set up LinkedIn Sales Navigator to make prospecting seamless. All right, so the first step is setting up account lists inside Sales Navigator. For this example, let's say your ICP includes software development companies that have recently received funding and are actively hiring on LinkedIn. Add these filters and narrow your results down further with something like the company headcount filter. For our tier 1 accounts, let's focus on companies with the biggest footprint, like 1,000+ employees. Once your search results look solid, save these accounts to a dedicated list. Simply click on the checkboxes next to the companies you'd like to save, or use the select all option at the top of the list. From here, we can click on the save to list button and create our account list. Let's name this one tier 1 software development and click save. Just remember, Sales Navigator only displays 25 accounts per page, so if you need to add more accounts to your list, you'll have to go about adding them manually from page to page. Now, to structure our outreach, create separate lists for each tier. For example, tier 1 is for large enterprises with 1,000+ employees requiring deep personalization and multi-threaded outreach. Tier 2 is for mid-market companies with 200 to 1,000 employees, suited for scalable outreach. And lastly, tier 3 is for smaller businesses with 1 to 200 employees, best engaged via automation. After building your account list, the next step is finding decision makers within those companies. Using Sales Navigator's lead search, go to Workflow and Account Lists, and select one of your saved tier lists. From here, you'll have access to all the employees that work at the companies in that list. For simplicity, let's say we want to target only those with the current job title of head of marketing. Add it to your search, and boom, you'll have access to everyone with that job title from the companies in your account list. Now, for an even more dynamic workflow, use saved searches to automate lead tracking. Instead of repeating manual searches, LinkedIn will continuously update your search results and send you alerts with new decision makers match your criteria. So with your list structured, you now have a highly targeted prospecting system. Okay, so decision makers typically fall into 3 tiers. Tier 1s are C-level executives, VPs, and department heads with final purchasing authority. But remember, these people are harder to reach. Tier 2s are people like senior managers who influence buying decisions, but don't really have the final say. And lastly, tier 3s are team leads and lower level managers who are often the first to research solutions and provide valuable insights. Now, Sales Navigator's Relationship Explorer paired with personas helps identify the right contacts at each company. So create personas based on function, seniority, and job title to quickly find the most relevant stakeholders at those companies. For example, if targeting marketing leaders, create a persona like tier 1 marketing, set filters for function and seniority, then save it. Relationship Explorer will instantly populate relevant prospects, giving you an organized view of key decision makers. If you prefer a visual hierarchy of these decision makers, you can manually organize them using LinkedIn's relationship map. While it doesn't help uncover new prospects like Relationship Explorer, it's useful for tracking stakeholders and ensuring you follow up with the right people first. So once your lists are built, outreach should start from the bottom up. Engaging tier 2 and tier 3 contacts first provides insights that make outreach to senior executives more credible and effective. For example, instead of messaging a VP of sales directly, start with a senior sales manager to understand their challenges. Later, reference that conversation when reaching out to the VP. This turns your outreach into a warm introduction rather than a cold pitch. Once you've identified the right people and secured your outreach, the next step is ensuring your messages are highly relevant. Instead of generic cold outreach, timing is everything. Leveraging real-time company activity helps you engage decision makers when they're most likely to respond. With Sales Navigator's Growth Insights and Alerts tabs, you have access to key signals like new hires, job openings, funny events, and leadership changes, all of which are great opportunities to personalize your outreach and boost your response rates. So with your outreach strategy in place, let's break down how to craft messages that actually get responses. All right, so here's the key to writing messages that actually get responses. Keep it short, relevant, and conversational. Pretty simple, right? Remember, your goal here is to start a conversation, not push for a meeting. A great framework for effective outreach is Rabbit. Reason for outreach: ask a question, back up with data, and tease your solution. For R, reference a company event, industry shift, or mutual connection. For A, engage the prospect instead of pitching right away. For B, use a case study, industry trend, or success story. And for T, spark curiosity without pushing for a hard sell. Here's an example. Hey Sarah, I saw that CyberGuard recently expanded its sales team. Many RevOps leaders I speak with have mentioned that rapid growth often makes it harder to maintain data accuracy across prospecting lists. Have you noticed this as well? A client of ours recently solved this challenge and increased their outbound response rate by 35% after implementing a data enrichment strategy. Happy to share how they did it if you're interested. Now, to increase response rates, make messages conversational and highly personalized. Reference something specific about the prospect, whether it's a recent LinkedIn post, industry challenge, or conference appearance. It'll make your outreach feel natural and way more engaging. Now, follow-ups are just as important as the first message. Most prospects won't respond right away, so each follow-up should add new context or value rather than repeating the initial message. The second touchpoint might highlight an industry trend or case study, while the final follow-up should be low pressure, reinforcing value without pushing for a response. By applying Rabbit and personalization, your outreach becomes more strategic and engaging, increasing the likelihood of a reply. All right, so the next challenge is scaling without losing personalization. LGM can automate multi-channel workflows, sending connection requests, LinkedIn messages, and emails, all based on the engagement of your prospects. Once updated, head over to LGM, sign up for an account, and create your first campaign. Hit that import leads button and LGM will start processing your data. Now it's time to set up your campaign workflow. Since LinkedIn limits the number of connection requests you can send each week, it's best to start with email as a first touch point. So select first email as your starting step, choose how many follow-ups you want, and then let LGM generate a multi-channel outreach sequence that automates LinkedIn and email engagement. Once the campaign is set up, customize the message templates using your reason for outreach. Click the variables button, insert the first name variable, then add custom attribute 1 to dynamically include the personalized outreach message for each prospect. After that, finalize your follow-up message templates and save your outreach content. Now for your tier 3 lead list, feel free to follow the exact same process, but this time don't bother with the custom reason for outreach. Remember, LGM smart workflows adjust based on engagement. If a prospect replies, further outreach stops automatically. If they don't, LGM moves them to the next step, ensuring no lead is lost or over-messaged. So once everything is set up, hit launch campaign and LGM will start sending messages on autopilot, keeping your outreach structured and personalized. All right, so the last step of our LinkedIn ABM strategy is syncing LinkedIn prospecting with LinkedIn ads. Instead of reaching out to cold prospects, you engage with people who have already seen your brand multiple times, increasing response rates, connection acceptance, and trust. Go to the For Business tab on LinkedIn, click Advertise, and select or create an ad account. Choose lead generation as your campaign objective, select either Accelerate or Classic campaign type, and set your budget and schedule. On the campaign details page, click List Upload and select Company List, then upload your file. LinkedIn requires a minimum of 300 valid contacts to run a campaign, and processing takes 24 to 48 hours before targeting becomes available. To ensure your ads reach the same decision makers targeted in your LGM campaigns, refine your audience further. Click Narrow, Audience Attribute, Job Experience, Job Titles, and type out the exact job titles from your Sales Navigator lists. The best part of this strategy is that you can tailor ads for each tier of your ICP, ensuring messaging aligns with audience intent. By following this strategy, we're leveraging the mere exposure effect, a psychological phenomena where repeated brand exposure not only increases familiarity, but also preference. To maximize impact, LinkedIn ads should include 3 key campaign types. Warm-up ads introduce your brand before outreach, focusing on thought leadership, industry insights, and problem awareness messaging. Cover ads run during outreach, keeping your brand top of mind with testimonials, case studies, and customer success stories. And finally, wake-up ads re-engage unresponsive prospects with targeted content like case studies, industry reports, or direct CTAs. So by layering warm-up, cover, and wake-up ads, you increase brand awareness, build trust, and reinforce outreach, making responses far more likely. And that's it. Now you can finalize the rest of your campaign details, and once ready, launch the campaign. And that brings us to the end of our video. You now know how to execute LinkedIn ABM the right way. Instead of chasing random leads, you now have a proven system that aligns sales and marketing, making every outreach strategic, personalized, and highly effective. If this helped you rethink your LinkedIn strategy, hit that like button and subscribe for more sales and prospecting tactics. As always, thanks for watching, happy prospecting, and I'll see you in the next video.